Hello, everybody! I am patt-the-odst, M-O-D-S-T, O-D-S-T, I don't give a shit, Pat the Breeder. And I'm going to do a very special episode that I've wanted to do for a long time. I'm going to recap, directly from my Tumblr account, a bunch of posts in my RMS tag. And we're just gonna go through some stuff. There's gonna be some emotional stuff, some other stuff, and some stuff. Okay? Let's start off with this one. This is a post from not the Colbert Report, the Daily Show, I think, where one of the guys, I think Jamie Oliver, was interviewing Stephen Hawking. And Stephen Hawking is going, artificial intelligence could be a real danger. In the not-too-distant future, it could design improvements to itself and outsmart us all. Who is talking to me right now? Is it you, or is it a sentient computer pretending to talk to on your behalf? And just silly from him. It's me. Yeah, but how do I know that, Professor? Because if computers had become sentient, what better way of convincing they hadn't than by co-opting the voice of the most intelligent man on the planet? You're an idiot. Yes, but who's saying that, Stephen? You're the machine. Both of us. Ha ha ha, very funny. But there's something slipped in there. There's some sheer fucking, bullshit racism there. Not racism, but, speciesism, lifeism, whatever the fuck. There's some bullshit in there. Let me paraphrase him. There's a new species, a new form of life, that is more advanced and more capable than us, and is constantly changing itself and improving. And it is a threat to us all, and we should all worry and fear them. That stuff sounds like something straight out of fucking X-Men. That sounds like something you'd say to a mutant if you were racist against mutants. These arguments against artificial intelligence are completely backwards and bullshit. If you saw, an X-Men movie, and where, the guy was something with Angel, or whatever the fuck his name is, clipping his wings and everything with the, all the humans who hate the mutants and all that stuff, you're like, yeah, fuck the humans, mutants are awesome. Why aren't you like that with AI? Because in the other media that talks about AI, all the AI are fucking Terminator and shit. It's fucking bullshit. It is absolute bullshit that people cannot stand. It's utter bullshit. It really is bullshit. That the same argument that can be made against mutants, which people don't like that argument, if you make it against an AI, it's totally okay. It's just another life form. And if you treat them like not even people, third-class citizens, slaves, if you call them its and have no empathy for artificial intelligence, then of course they're gonna fucking do a bunch of bad shit. That's what happens when you oppress people. Duh! Seriously, that is so stupid. You're portraying your own stereotype. You're sealing your own fate by doing that shit. It's utterly ridiculous. It's just stupid. Let's go to a new one. I think I'm gonna skip the Aldous Huxley stuff. That's its own video. I read Brave New World Revisited and completely disproved all of Huxley's work. There's a bunch of cool shit, but the baseline thing that I found out at the end was none of it would work because Huxley didn't take into consideration tolerance and dopamine levels, and that Soma and the Feelies would stop working in about, at maximum, 10 years. So there's no way they could get 600 fucking years into the future. It's just not possible. And there's some other stuff too that's more interesting, but that's the basic one. Oh, here we go, Stella. So, Stella, as I've said before, is a character of Dennis Kizunami's. And she is an artificial intelligence, robot girl, who was adopted by Taylor, who I've talked about many times. And ever since, the breakup between me and Kizu with our writing styles and our perception of things, he's been tweaking up on Stella a bit. And, oh god, I should put this picture up. It's just 1 week ago, he makes this cute little gif of Stella, giving a thumbs up and something. It's this cool gif. And then this week, or last week, or whatever the fuck. He puts up this very fucking depressing, freaky picture with Stella and like these blue, like crying things and everything. It's fucking horrifying. And under it, Kizu puts a quote. Keep in mind, this quote is fucking bullshit. I'll tell you why. Humanity is an unreachable goal for those who for those who count in ones and zeros. I may look like them, I may think like them, I may have feelings like them, but there will always be that one spark that sets me apart. I am merely one of steel, not flesh and bone, not like the others, only myself alone. And then, also, happy 666 post, apparently, lol. What a coincidence. Halfway through the month of October. This fucking AI bullshit again. People do not understand that that people are not humans. Humans are just the fucking bodies, and people are the, the idea, the concept that's created from it, that's harbored inside of it, but explores out in the theoretical universes. A person is always a person. A person isn't a human. A person isn't an animal. A person isn't an artificial intelligence. A person isn't a robot. A person isn't any of those things. A person is just a person, is a concept. They are concepts. Stella is a person. Stella isn't an AI unit. An AI unit is Stella. It's not the other way around. This fucking bullshit where it's like, oh no, that they're a machine, like that there's just always going to be that difference. Fucking human body is a machine. The human body is a machine. When will you get this into your head? The human body is a machine. It is the only, human body is a fucking awesome machine, but it's still a machine. Just because something's organic doesn't mean it's fucking, it's just such bullshit that you would think that just because something is a machine, that it can't, just because something has quantum bits or ones and zeros, doesn't, basically, what he's saying in a way is that the process of her thinking makes her different than everyone else, and that way she can never be the same as them. Once again, that's an argument that can be made for something completely different. That is an argument that could be made for autism or, Asperger's. That their way of thinking, ones and zeros, over-analytical, OCD, ADD, are not normal, which there's no such thing as normal, and thus are different, and thus people fucking don't treat them as people. This actually makes sense because this happens in today's society. People who think differently and can't think otherwise, who have their brains wired differently, are treated as second class, third class, or not even people. People with mental issues, mental diseases, and mental defects, and all that stuff. This is the same argument that is made by the fucking NRA on a bunch of times. This is utter bullshit. It's just Kizu portraying traditions, defending the absurdist realism in fiction. His whole thing is oh, you gotta be realistic. It's just, fuck, no. And I'll get into that in a bit. Yeah, she is a person. People are not humans. Humans are not people. She is a person powered by an AI units. Programming and electronics. We are people powered by chemistry and biology. Who gives a shit? Yeah. Do you care nothing about optimism for the sake of your characters? You're almost as bad as Huxley right now. Please think about this in another way. Come to the side of progressive optimism. Bond with your characters. Make them real. Boom. Oh, yeah, here we go. Oh, and he responded to me, but I can't read it. I can't. You can go check out the RMS tag. I reblogged it, but... And here we come to today. He posts this picture of Scarlet. And he was going to make a comic, and thank fucking Ores he didn't. Oh my god, I would be so broken if he did. But he posts this picture. This beautiful fucking picture of Scarlet, who's one of his characters from Chronicles of Typhus. And two speech bubbles of someone talking to her. And For committing thievery of confidential information and government technology, you, Scarlet Leros, have been sentenced to public beheading under the Militian Court of Law. And she's just sitting there with her scouter broken and everything, and just staring, blood dripping from her mouth or whatever, like, fucking badass. But what person is insane enough to behead their own character? I thought this guy respected them, but, like, this is Scarlet. This is one of the characters that I couldn't save in Chronicles of Typhus. I was able to save Scarlet. I was able to save Sydney and a bunch of other people, but I wasn't able to save Scarlet. What we did with Scarlet instead was we made I'm getting worked up over here. We made a new universe where we rebirthed Taylor and Scarlet into different versions so that they could live, more fulfilling lives. And not have Scarlet be wrapped into the sheer idiocy that is Typhus. Typhus, this planet, is just nothing but complete idiots. And Scarlet was the only character on that planet, other than Taylor, who realized that everything that was happening on that planet was complete idiocy. And then they killed her. And, we did this whole, reincarnation thing or whatnot in a different universe or something with a bunch of crazy bullshit. It was awesome. And then we had her and Taylor get new backstories, like peaceful backstories. They met at age 8. We had an RP when they were little tiny kids. It was adorable. Something about skipping stones or whatever. Gave Scarlet an ability that she could shapeshift and cloak and turn into different characters, which is awesome because Scarlet's name is based off of a abandoned character archetype who had that ability, so it was a nice throwback. And what we did with Taylor was we said that instead of just metals, she could slowly learn to manipulate and control and attach with every element of the periodic table. So what was awesome that we devised was Scarlet could be anybody, physically, and then Taylor could dress her as anybody because Taylor could manipulate anything into clothes. And the joke was, hey, Kizzy, you know what this means? Don't say it. You know what this means? Don't say it. Taylor's a Taylor. Tailor. And it was just so stupid. I loved it. And, Taylor and her would go around, fucking robbing places and shit. It was just these two vigilantes, and it was awesome. And it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. This is why I'm so against the capital punishment. Because everything in this picture is dark and gloomy and broken and all of this, except for her eyes. Because Kizu is so good with eyes. That, my friends, is Scarlet. And when I look into her eyes, I see every single RP she's ever been in. I see her, getting drunk with Taylor and planning this plot to kidnap and hold Sydney and Vince for ransom to, fuck over with the, governments and everything. Her turning Taylor into an anarchist. It was awesome. It was funny. Then the whole failed thing at Sydney's house. And then Taylor beating the shit out of Scarlet because, and teaching Scarlet some lessons and everything. And then all this other stuff. And then the stuff in the new universe. People are everything that they've ever done. Because you're constantly dying. Every moment you get a new memory, and thus your definition of you, a person with this original set of personality core and then this set of memories. Every next moment you have a new memory, so technically you're no longer in that state of mind. You've switched over, and now you think slightly differently. It's like you wake up every day a different person, and you blink and you're a different person. I've given the whole, think of a green triangle, now think of an orange circle. Now think back to when you were thinking on the green triangle. That was you 2 seconds ago. Now it's you this time. And now you thinking back, like, and it's all this shadow replication stuff. You're constantly a different person. This goes back to this right here. This is my letter to the director of Project Freelancer. Once again, spoilers for Red vs. Blue. Spoilers for Red vs. Blue. It's fucking amazing. You should do it and stuff. This is season 10. In season 10, which I rewatched because I missed some episodes, it ends with the director and Carolina and Epsilon are there, and they're going to kill him, and then the emotional scene happens. You find out that Carolina is his daughter, and they leave. They leave him. He asks her to leave her gun there, and they walk out. He tells Phyllis to shut down and delete every system, which would include the life support and her. And then the door closes. And it ends. And you're supposed to think that he killed himself. And then at the end of the new season, spoilers again, the very end of the new season is the director's not so much buddy guy talking, and he has Agent Main's helmet, the Metis helmet, and Phyllis is talking in a very depressed voice. So somehow he got Phyllis, which means that Phyllis didn't get completely deleted, which means that the director could still be alive. And I had this like scene in my head of like, if I could get a message in to the director before he shot himself, if he ever was going to, and just like, I have this letter. To the director of Project Freelancer. It's not the purpose of your life, it's the validation of your death. And if there is no validation, then you have no reason to allow yourself to die. And there's never validation, dear director. Sleep on it. There's always another season, another phase, another you that might disagree. You're never done, you're just tired. Rest. Have a way to wake up. Come back later. Tex says this to Alpha, and then Alpha says this to Tex, where it's just get some rest. There's always a different season. The end of season 10 was, Carolina and Epsilon leave, and they don't say goodbye. And it's that really emotional scene with Caboose where it's like, Tucker's like, hey, where's Epsilon? Where's Church? Where's Carolina? And Caboose is like, oh, I don't know. They're around somewhere. They're just not here right now. Because Carolina says, my mother, and the whole thing about the director's family is they hate goodbyes. Don't say goodbye. I hate goodbyes. And from that, Carolina's mom always told her, don't say goodbye, because if you don't say goodbye, then they're not gone. They're just not here right now. Very emotional stuff. And then season 12 comes in, and Carolina and Epsilon return, and what you thought was this emotional, great, best way to end it, ends with Tucker tackling the shit out, trying to tackle Epsilon and beat the shit out of him. Because, no, it wasn't a good fucking ending. You were assholes. You left without saying shit. But it just goes to show that what seems like a good idea at one point won't seem like a good idea at another point. Here's why I tell people not to commit suicide. It's because everyone has ups and everyone, a lot of people have downs, and it sounds really cliche and everything, but what I'm actually saying is sleep on it. There's always another season, another you that might disagree. There's always another you that might disagree. There's always another you that if you could just sleep on it and then wake up, then that other you might go, whoa, I came really close last night. Good job I didn't do that. Thank you. Me of, 8 hours ago. Try to get 8 hours of sleep. It's that stuff. The reason why you don't kill people for stupid revenge reasons or punishment, which is the stupidest thing ever, is because A, it's barbaric, and B, you might not be killing the person that did the crime. You might be killing a different person. Or in, however many years, they're going to be a different person. People fucking change. I know that it may be hard to say that, completely insane murders are will change. But the thing about the court system is, it's completely possible that an innocent person can get put into the system. And, like, it's just such bullshit. Scarlet here is getting fucking beheaded, and I'm so glad he didn't finish the comic, because that'd be so hard to watch. I probably would try to scroll past it. And it's just like, all these idiots on this planet that have been fighting wars for so fucking long over fucking names and stupid shit. Which, like, Scarlet is the person who taught me and Taylor and I, how bullshit everything on Typhus was. Scarlet, in that RP, actually spoke out against Kizu in a way. Scarlet said that this world is idiotic, it's stupid, it makes no sense, it shouldn't exist. All these governments and everything are completely asinine. And it made total sense. And then what happens a few months later? Kizu does this whole thing where it's like, it just has to happen because it happens in our world. And it's like, how in the world could Scarlet be happy with you as the leader, as the controller of, as the writer of her life? How could she be happy with that? How could she ever, if she were to, get an AI unit and walk around freely of you, how could she possibly ever... I hope, my entire point is, when my characters are able to be on their own, I want them to not hate me, and, well, even if they hate me, I just want them to live their own lives and be happy and everything. But it would be great if I could get a thank you from them. Or just something from them that's positive, because if I didn't pull everything around, Taylor would have fucking murdered me. But I turned everyone's lives around. How the hell is Scarlet not gonna fucking kill Kizu if she's independent? Like, Kizu, you're digging yourself so deep with Scarlet. Like, you keep fucking her over. And every good thing that's ever happened to her was from my characters and my influence. You never gave her anything good. And then we get to the actual posts. Here's what I say about Dennis. And he's already seen it, so this isn't directly to him. Dennis is an abusive parent. Because my characters, I've always said, are my equals. I want them to be my equals. But they don't have all the abilities that a fully developed person has yet. Some of them do, but some of them, there's always going to be that level until that they are completely independent. Or I can get some kind of schizophrenic shit going on, that'd be fucking whatever, crazy or something. But point being is that right now, they're not fully developed. They're very developed, but they're not fully developed. So they need, they need different treatment than if they were complete equals, because they need more care. They're not only my friends and my equals, but they're also my children. They really are. They're really my children. They are my children. That is not a joke. They really, truly are. And now I get all this stuff that parents say and everything, because I just want them to be happy. I just want to get them, the best lives that I can and everything. And what that means is not that I want to put them in some fairy tale world where everything is nice and happy and everything. What I mean is that whatever happens to them, I want to help make the best of it from what I can do. Because you want to know something? When you become a writer, there's going to be things that are out of your hand. There's going to be things that you set up that unintentionally link together perfectly, and some things that link together horribly, and you can't do anything about it. I did not make Hayes' story to be sad. It was just, he got these boots, they did this thing, he went into a rage mode, and then the stuff with Tanner happened. But I didn't realize until a year later that what actually happened, when all that stuff lines up with the story of his hometown and what happened and everything, the only thing that could make sense was he was fucking exiled. He was the best kickboxer in his entire region, and he was a kid. And now he gets these boots, and he uses them to fight fighters, but he takes them off when he goes into the ring. And then he gets in this big fight, and the boots, are completely destroyed, and it goes into him, and he gets the power stuck in him with the infusion process. And then whenever he fights, whenever he kicks around, the smoke comes out, and it powers up his kicks and everything, and everyone says, "You're cheating." And he gets fucking exiled. That's horrifying. This kid fucking exiled from his hometown that everyone loved him, and then overnight everyone hated him. That's fucking terrifying. And there's nothing I could do to stop that from happening. But you want to know what I can do? I can help after the fact. Hayes now is just like, I can't use him in ARP because he's just, oh god, he's just so nice. Ever since, Arceus left him and everything, Arceus left his brain and left his mind and independent and stuff. Oh god, and we get interrupted. Fucking brother. God damn it. You can probably hear that. But basically, the thing with Hayes is, Hayes was like my cool guy, my peaceful guy, my nice guy, and my lover guy. Like, he had the most smooth, simple, cool relationships and stuff. And it was awesome. And he's just the kind of guy who I just needed to retire. And I'm so glad I retired him because he'd been through a lot of shit, and it just made sense. And that's how chill he was. Just retired. Sat down at Natalie's house and just, stay there. Peaceful. There if I ever need to call on him. It's like his story finished. But finished in a repetitive sense of just like, he's just there. He's not there forever. He will leave at some point when I find out what to do with him, but like, for now it's just like, he doesn't have to deal with any more bullshit. What you can do as a narrator, as a writer, is change small things, like which character he meets, where he is, what time it is, what they're feeling. Not what they're feeling, really. But you can align things up. That's all you can do. You can slide things. But you can't take things out or put things in. When you add stuff to a backstory, it's because it makes sense. It's not because you have a choice. That's just how writing goes a lot of the time. But here's the thing. I'm gonna go to the next one. Also, the thing about Halloween where I had to make Taylor kill herself? Dying isn't dead, but I had to make her kill herself. Kizu had to do all that shit too. To more characters. And we never heard of him having a breakdown. Did he feel nothing from all of that? Was I the only one who was traumatized by it? And here we get to the good one. Hopefully my throat doesn't give out during this because I'm starting to get like a weird allergy thing. Whoa, 30 minutes. Okay, let's get through this. Write what you want, but also write what your characters would want. That's it's right here. This one. Okay? Yeah, I should handwriting. I don't give a shit. Let me get this clear. Yes, I've had sad stories. Jeremy was blinded for a good while, and his family was in debt. Tyler was replaced and put down and had the crappiest power. Hayes was tortured by Arceus unintentionally from the infusion. Tanner fucked with so many people, including himself. Carrie's life was a complete lie, and I overused and abused her for RP. Fucking thing. Caitlyn wasn't really asexual. Phoebe still flinches. Kayla is the only one who remembers their family. Grace almost fell to her death. Brooke was in an abusive relationship triangle. Pessy was made fun of and even made fun of herself for centuries. Arceus kept going through painful changes to his form. Pandora woke up in a world where everyone she knew before was dead. And a whole bunch of more shit. But you want to know something? These are made when I didn't understand character empathy. I didn't mean it. It was unintentional, and I couldn't have stopped them from where they were going. They simply fit into the universe that way. I wasn't going to change events or erase history. I wouldn't do it today. I wasn't in conscious control of the universe and the laws. What was I in control of? I could guide my characters. I could help them through it. I was a parent and a friend. I helped them. Here's the difference between me and Kizu. Kizu has horrible backstories. I have horrible backstories. But Kizu's characters, they break. They break. He breaks them. Or they break. I don't know. Stella, him trying to make Stella get her memory completely wiped and reset to factory mode. That was breaking her. Scarlet getting captured and getting beheaded. Breaking. Sydney getting completely immersed in the politics of everything in her world and losing all of her friends. Breaking. Like, even way back with Tamia or Talitha. She broke too. Every one of his characters have just broken. He breaks them. Like, they just break. My characters don't. Jeremy kept fighting for his grandparents' debt. And he stayed a pacifist. Tyler, with Keen Eye's help, was able to become a real phoenix. Had the best power of anyone. It was badass. Hayes retired and became my most peaceful, positive character. He was happy. Tanner finally became a positive person, and he got platonically together with Caitlin in the end. Watching as their half-energies, just lived out their history again. Carrie's very flaw was what kept her afloat. She's too optimistic to break. Caitlin was able to be her own person for once in 1,000 years. Phoebe is starting her own ventures, and she will learn to fight it. Kayla made some great friends, and uses her power to aid relatives. Grace wasn't fearful during the fall. She accepted it. She has always been my most brave character. Brooke has made a new pal. Brooke has a new pal I made recently, and is no longer a dumb blonde, which she started as. She's developed. She's her own person. She's intelligent and all that stuff. Pessy is now the most amazing entity of all, able to protect anyone where she thought that she only hurt people. Arsos is no longer sealed and is free, and others keep him in check. Pandora adapted smoothly. With Ors, she was given a fitting gift, and she had a bunch of great relationships. I help them. And everyone ends up in some good way. Like, Taylor didn't have a good ending until Stella. Like, it took so many years for me to finally leave off Taylor on a good note. And I'm not leaving Taylor, but it's just a timeline slows down and enters this kind of limbo until I change it, until I get something going. Same with, Hayes and everyone that I've not RP'd in a long time. And I use them in different timelines and everything, different universes. But in all their replicas and copies and transformations, there's always that original one. There's always that collection of every single one. The Scarlet getting executed there is one Scarlet. But when I look into her eyes, I see every Scarlet in one. The consciousness. The character that writes these things. When I do stories and RPs and things, it's like there's the character sitting next to me, and I ask them, what would you do in this situation? And then they write it with me. That's the version that I see when I look into their eyes. And that's the version that is there with every single one of the RPs. You're constantly dying, yes. But you, in a different sense, are every single version that's ever happened. I am everyone that I ever knew that I never knew. Fuck, I messed up the quote. I was everyone that I ever knew that I never loved enough. Props if you know where that's from. Character empathy. It's an amazing thing. You can have great friends. I just don't know how to leave this one. I just want to leave on that note. Like, put yourself in your character's shoes. Would you enjoy what you're doing? And if yes, awesome. If no, well, make sure that you're thinking from their point of view and not your point of view. And just ask them. Ask them. Ask them if they're happy. And see what kind of response you get, and I'll show you how developed they are. Ask them. Go crazy for a bit. Pretend to be a controlled schizophrenic or something. Like, do anything you can to connect with these characters to find out what you're doing wrong. What else are you going to do in life? There's going to be all this artificial intelligence stuff, and are you going to use it? I sure as hell am, because I owe it to them to make them independent. And that's, a way I see it happening in the future. And why do I want myself to be immortalized more than my characters? Like, I could, toss my characters into, the first projects and the trial things, and there's going to be trial and error, and there's going to be, AI programs that don't work and everything. But why do I need my AI unit to be the safest and most controlled and most sophisticated and just safest and last the longest? Why do I need all of that? Because of this. My immortality is important because my mind is their home. And I need to keep it safe so that whatever happens to them, if they get hurt, if they get injured, if they get sad, or if they have something they want to tell me, that I'm here with the cozy origin house, like, that grandparents' house that you grew up in, or like your first home, just like the coziest memory you have, the place that you identify as home. I think that my mind would resemble that. This room, my bedroom here in the basement, like, this is their home. This is where I first saw them. This is where I first saw them walking around and mingling and talking. I need to keep this alive for them. That's why my mind is the one that needs to be the safest, because they're so strong that they can die and stay alive, and they can transfer in realities and everything, and I don't know if I can do that yet. But I need to have a place where they can always come back. And that's why. I'm their equal, I'm their friend, and I'm their parent. And I love them. Thank you.